Welcome to this explainer. We all rely on this massive global maritime trade network. It literally brings us everything from the fuel in our cars to the phones right in our pockets. But what happens when you realize that this entire network is actually astonishingly fragile? Today we're diving straight into the proposed Ben Gurion Canal. It's a staggering $55 billion megaproject that could completely rewrite the map of global trade and, honestly, regional power too.
So to understand why a project of this scale is even on the table, we really have to look at our current reality. A staggering 10% of all global commerce. We're talking vast oil tankers, massive cargo vessels, those towering container ships. It all relies entirely on one single, incredibly vulnerable choke point. We are, of course, talking about Egypt's Suez Canal, that narrow little channel connecting the Mediterranean to the Red Sea. For all intents and purposes, it's the undisputed golden artery of global commerce.
There's this well-known saying among trade experts: when the Suez sneezes, the entire global economy catches a cold. And hey, do you remember the spring of 2021? That massive container ship, the Ever Given, got completely lodged sideways in the canal for days. It created literally one of the absolute worst maritime traffic jams in modern history. That one single incident sent shockwaves across the entire planet, and it instantly exposed the extreme dangers of depending on just one shipping lane for so much of the world's supply chain.
But we've got to remember, for Egypt, this canal isn't just some convenient shipping route. It is the absolute lifeblood of their economy. The Suez Canal generates nearly $9.4 billion in revenue for Egypt every single year. It is a total economic powerhouse. And beyond just the cash, controlling this critical artery grants Cairo substantial geopolitical influence on the world stage. I mean, whoever controls the flow of global trade controls a whole lot of power.
Section 1. The $55 billion alternative. Now, the physical contrast between these two waterways is just fascinating. Israel has proposed a nearly 300-kilometer artificial waterway carved directly through the Negev Desert, linking the Mediterranean Sea to the Gulf of Aqaba and feeding right into the Red Sea. Now, while the Suez is shorter, it cuts through soft, sandy terrain. That makes it highly prone to erosion, and it's famously narrow. The Ben Gurion Canal, on the other hand, it would be about a third longer, but carved through a hard, rocky landscape. That harder ground is a huge deal. It promises greater long-term stability and significantly cuts down on the maintenance headaches that constantly plague the Suez. Plus, the new canal is actually designed to handle two-way traffic simultaneously.
Just think about the sheer scale of the engineering we're talking about here. The blueprints have this canal reaching 50 meters deep and a massive 200 meters wide. By leveraging cutting-edge technology, it's quite literally engineered to be deeper, wider, and faster than the Suez. This superior capacity means it could comfortably allow two-way traffic for the absolute largest vessels currently sailing the planet. No more single-file traffic jams.
But here's the crucial point. This wouldn't just be a giant ditch filled with water. The blueprints go way, way beyond a simple shipping lane. Planners expect the canal to pull in around $6 billion in annual revenue for Israel. But they also envision developing entirely new urban zones right along its banks. We're talking about building modern cities, luxury hotels, sprawling entertainment complexes, and even vibrant nightclubs right out there in the desert. The vision here is to completely transform a harsh, empty landscape into a thriving, futuristic trade and tourism destination. It's a massive undertaking.
Section 2. A century-old vision. Now, you might be surprised to learn that this ambitious megaproject isn't actually a brand new concept. Engineers first floated the idea of a canal through what is now Israeli way back in the mid-1800s. Fast forward a bit to 1955, and British naval officer William Allen formally suggested a route connecting the Red Sea, the Dead Sea, and the Mediterranean. He argued it could be even more strategically valuable than the Suez. The vision then gained real formal traction in 1994 when Israel unveiled specific plans, naming it after their first Prime Minister, David Ben Gurion, who always dreamed of turning the Negev Desert into an economic hub. And of course, interest dramatically reignited in 2021 when the Ever Given situation exposed exactly how badly the world might need a backup route.
Section 3. Engineering the Negev Desert.
Okay, so building this canal, absolutely no easy task.
The Negev Desert offers zero natural waterways. It is just pure, harsh terrain that demands massive excavation. And honestly, here's an absolutely wild historical fact for you. Early ideas to create this pathway actually included using nuclear excavation to literally blow a hole straight through the desert.
No way, right? Well, thankfully, those ideas were totally abandoned. Today, the plan relies entirely on deploying advanced engineering, heavy machinery, and years of continuous, grueling labor to excavate all that hard, rocky terrain.
To really put the monumental human effort required into perspective, experts estimate it would take over 300,000 workers. And they wouldn't just be out there digging for a few months. That massive workforce would need to operate continuously around the clock for at least 5 solid years just to carve this thing out. It's an unbelievable amount of manpower.
Section 4. The geopolitical ripple effect. So analysts are paying incredibly close attention right now, because this canal wouldn't just be a feat of engineering. It would be a powerful geopolitical weapon, triggering massive shifts in global power dynamics. Let's break it down. For Israel, it means full command over a critical maritime artery, bypassing Egypt entirely, and absolutely skyrocketing their global influence. For Egypt, well, it represents a severe economic loss and a broken monopoly over Red Sea access. For the United States, a key ally to Israel, it provides a much faster alternative military and logistical corridor between the Mediterranean and the Indian Ocean. Meanwhile, it could actually weaken parts of China's massive Belt and Road Initiative by shifting those long-established trade routes. Literally every major global actor is affected by this single stretch of water.
Section 5. The Gaza Alignment Controversy.
Which brings us to the central question that geopolitical experts are fiercely debating right now. When you actually look at the map, the situation gets incredibly tense. Is this purely an ambitious infrastructure dream aimed at boosting trade? Or could it quietly represent deeper strategic motivations woven into decades of conflict across the region? Logistically, the situation is as complex as it gets. On a map, the absolute shortest and cheapest path to connect these bodies of water cuts directly through Gaza. Avoiding it altogether would mean longer routes, much higher costs, and heavily reduced efficiency for the canal. But running a megaproject straight through Gaza, which is one of the most politically sensitive and heavily conflicted regions in the world, well, that raises severe geopolitical and humanitarian concerns. This potential alignment has fueled intense speculation that the project isn't just about moving cargo, but is deeply intertwined with power, control, and territorial strategy in a highly volatile area. At the end of the day, a $55 billion megaproject of this scale is never just about moving water or shipping containers. It's really about reshaping the future of global trade and regional dominance. The Ben Gurion Canal remains a bold, deeply controversial vision that leaves us with one incredibly pressing question. If this blueprint ever actually breaks ground, will it become a shining symbol of human progress and economic collaboration? Or will it be the ultimate trigger for a new era of conflict? Think about what a shifting map means for the world we live in today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep your eyes on the horizon.